Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I am just officially been spiked by Wrath Screaming Chocolate, but hello. My name is... Can we go like one podcast without you spamming that shit? All right. Anyway, my name is Matthew Tyler DeLeo, better known as SonicMTD, and welcome to another episode of We Need to Talk. Today, we are, of course, once again joined by Wrath of Fire, a man who, for some weird reason, I decided to have as my unofficial YouTube partner, but let it be known that he fails every single hand check at a hentai convention panel. So, good little thing to know. But speaking of hentai panels, we've got a very special guest today. Today's guest, we are joined by prominent, not safe for work artist, Twitch live streamer, YouTube live streamer, BDOne. BD, are you there?
Hey guys. Yeah, I am. Thanks for having me.
Glad to have you here. Sorry, I know that we were having audio troubles originally. I'm going to just very briefly say before we start this off, to those that are watching, we don't have any sort of visual flair for BDOne. So as such, I will be playing footage from my PlayStation 4 copy of Cyberpunk 2077 and the nightmare that ensues. But we will be asking questions, going back and forth, and if you have anything that you personally want to ask BDOne, please put it in the comments, and we will be sure to throw it back to you. Now, BD, I've got a bunch of questions, a lot of stuff involving your lore. If I get anything wrong, do not hesitate to jump in and correct me. But we'll start very, very briefly from what I remember. So,
okay.
Your name, BDOne, stands for Bande Dessinée or whatever, which basically is French for comics.
Yes, that's correct.
And you started, according to what I was able to gather, you started around 2016, 2017.
Yes.
Your Twitch channel was in 2016, and everything else, like your Twitter, was in 2017. Your YouTube page was in 2024. I don't know what this effect is called, but I was actually thrown off when I found out that you started in 2016, because I had felt that I had seen your art on the internet for much longer than that.
Interesting. I wonder why that is.
I have to agree with that too, because I swear that I've seen BD's artwork long before I found out he even had a YouTube and or Twitch page.
Well, 2016 is a pretty long time ago, to be fair. But
that is, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know why you would feel that way, because my style's changed quite a bit.
Yes, it has, actually.
I did the 2016 stuff. It's pretty different.
I would love to be able to show any artwork to compare, but I would immediately be violating terms of service in this podcast, and this channel would be done for.
I do have safe for work art from back then, but yeah, I never posted it anywhere.
It's literally going to have to be just the faces.
Yeah.
Literally just the faces.
Yeah, I'm not going to be doing a GIMP censorship live as we have the live stream. Although the fact that my my free open software version of Adobe Photoshop is called GIMP, and it's for now an adult themed artwork, the joke isn't lost on me.
Mm-hmm.
So let's get into sort of the ins and outs. Now, I'm curious about you using a French term primarily for your online alias. Does any type of French comics, like I would think Asterix, Babar, Tintin, or the Smurfs, did any of that influence you from a young age, or?
No, not really at all. I actually don't read comics, which is kind of strange given that I make them. I know that's weird, but I kind of just fell into making comics through art It's one of the things I wanted to try when I was getting bored. I originally got into art to make assets for games I wanted to make. That was the main reason. No, not safe for work stuff, none of that. All that kind of came later when I was getting a little burnt out, trying to, spark the interest again, I guess. And it worked because I'm still drawing not safe for work stuff. I don't really make assets for games that often. Or I draw comics for the not safe for work stuff, but I don't draw any safe for work comics at all. So I wouldn't say they're an inspiration in any capacity, really. So
I still find that
I couldn't even name a French comic.
You couldn't even name a French comic, but you still
no.
chose it, which is one of the things I'm like, oh, maybe it was influenced by Asterix and Obelix, and I started doing a brief little research onto like the French comics industry just because I found out what your name meant, and I'm like, all right, well now all of the information and fact checking goes out the fucking window.
When I heard you asking the question, I'm like, oh no,
no,
I put a lot of time in the research.
Yeah.
You probably know more about French comics now than I do.
I did. I got a very brief crash course now, but I did like grow up reading like I did watch Babar as a kid, but like I grew up with the Tintin comic books, and I like my local library had them when I was in grade school, and then when for some weird reason I was a kleptomaniac as a kid, so I would just, rather than taking the books out of the library, I would just steal them, keep them indefinitely, and then return them when I got bored with them.
Okay, at least you returned them. That's nice.
I did eventually return them. I got busted a couple times as a kid as well, because once again I was not subtle. I could not keep a secret, and I could not keep my fucking mouth shut. But let's go into that. So you originally wanted to create art for games, primarily for game design. Was there any sort of like mindset of what type of, like, what video games sort of influenced you and what you were thinking about going for originally?
Oh, well, yeah. I mean, I grew up with a GameCube, so I was really big into Nintendo games. I would always like draw characters from my favorite games and stuff like that when I was a wee little BD.
Wee little
I'd say
bean.
that's probably some of the biggest inspiration, I guess, early on. And I always thought it'd be cool to work for a studio back then, but when I started doing it, actually making the art, working on concept art and stuff, kind of got pretty, I don't want to say tedious, but I burnt out faster than I expected to. And that's kind of when I started making the shift to the darker side of art, I guess you'd say.
Well,
just for
so you went to the dark side.
Right, exactly. And it was mainly just to keep my practice schedule up, because I was starting to, be like, I'll skip today, I don't really feel like drawing another night guy or whatever. And I started drawing butts instead. And I liked it, so I kept doing it.
So, Peach Witch is asking, how does BDOne feel about other not safe for work artists such as Melon Draws One and Caustic Crayon?
Yeah, those two guys.
Useless bums, garbage.
Yeah, the freaking posers, man. They basically almost copying your style, and I'm like, who are these people? How dare they? Using AI.
Thanks for the question, Peach. Appreciate that.
This is trust me, I know how these streams are. Depending on the fan base, it turns into total fucking anarchy by the end of the stream, and we just kind of roll with it. That's normally how we just sort of go. The thing that I primarily want to ask, so you mentioned, you're playing the GameCube was what originally wanted to get you into it. What were some games on the GameCube that had inspired you, that made you want to go down that path? If you could elaborate a little bit more on that.
Oh, was there anything in particular? I mean, I really like the art of Zelda games. All the Zelda games really have pretty cool art. I'm not sure if it was specifically Twilight Princess, but yeah, I loved, like the standard GameCube stuff, Mario Sunshine, all those cool games back then. Luigi's Mansion,
Okay.
Pretty much anything that I played as a kid would kind of, I want to draw characters from it, things like that. I don't know. I'm not sure if there's a specific one though I could really hone in on. I'd probably say Zelda, I guess, overall. Anything from Zelda. Even some of my cousins have the old Nintendo Power magazines, and I would take some of them and just draw the illustrations out of them, kind of copy them almost.
Did you trace them, or did you just try to do your own revisions of them?
Yeah, I'd never trace anything, which I do that now for practice sometimes. It is useful to build. I made a little video on it, talking about the construction stuff, but when I was a kid, I never traced. Not out of like any kind of, it's bad or anything. I just had more fun trying to do it myself, I guess. I think it did help me a lot. Even it was terrible. I still have a couple of them, like all these awfully drawn Pokemon and things like that. But yeah, I don't know if there's anything particular I could really focus on for one game that did it or anything like that.
I think before you start getting into like actually learning how to fundamentally draw, most people kind of forget the basics of human anatomy, making shapes out of things. Like someone once showed me, it's like, oh yeah, this is how you draw an anime character, and basically I was just seeing nothing but circles and ovals and hand positions, arm positions, things like that, and I'm like, wait a minute, you're doing all this anatomical work before you even bother drawing like fingers and eyes and things like that. And it's like, yeah, you have to plan out how your character is going to look so that it doesn't come out janky when you finally start doing the actual details of it. So that kind of made me realize, okay, I'm never going to be an artist. I better find another way through this. Did you go to school at all for art or game design or anything like that? Because I'm curious to see, if you attempted, because you mentioned that you were getting burnt out doing concept art and things like that. Were you, without trying to dox you or anything, were you contracted by any type of game publisher, or was it just like a project for school or anything?
Oh, no. I never worked for a publisher or anything like that. I never worked like for a studio with art or anything like that. No, I did it just for fun. I did go to school, but not for art or anything like that. Mm-hmm. It was just stuff I was doing in my free time, and I kind of like really dove in. I want to get really good at art, and I learned at the time through the internet that you have to put in a lot of work. I always thought, back in the day, you're always like, oh, you're so talented at art. People would say that to people, and I got told that too as well, even though I don't think I was. But once I learned that it's like, oh, these people like put in hours and hours every day to get good, I'm like, oh, okay, so maybe I can actually do this. So I started like putting in the hours, and that's what burnt me out. It wasn't like any kind of work thing. I know if I did work at a studio, I would get burnt out. Even now, I'd be like, oh man, I don't want to draw anything anymore.
Tight deadlines, consistent pressure. A lot of people that work in animation usually get overworked or are told to make really stupid decisions because, once again, the person who gives the orders is not really fluent in what it takes to actually make the art. So I can completely and totally get that and understand. The one thing once again, I cannot show any of your art without having to. I should have grabbed some safe for work stuff beforehand. This is a stupid mistake on my part, but I noticed that once again your art style has significantly changed. Originally it was a little bit more rougher, and it wasn't until I want to say, if I were to remember, because I went on Rule 34 and I just started scrolling until I eventually said, okay, that starts looking like BD. I want to say like 2021 is when it started really coming together with your art. Like it's starting to make something that looks a little bit more similar to modern BDOne. Did you have any? Right. Did you have any like influences or inspiration? I know you have references whenever you draw something, but like, was there any particular artists that called to you that made you sort of impact your style or make you want to attempt to learn new things?
Yeah, I would say ones I usually pick when people ask me that. At least if you're talking about specifically not safe for work artists, I always say Afro Bull. Agaka is another one that I like a lot. I guess I can say some safe for work too that really inspired me a lot at that time was like CT Chrysler's one.
Okay.
Van Ripper, the guy who made Helltakers, I really like his style a lot. So those are probably some of the bigger ones that really influenced how I changed my style. Early on, it was like concept artists. That's why my style was so different back in 2016 or whenever, because I was trying to be, more realistic, I guess. It wasn't realistic, really, but it was more like...
I would say realistic adjacent.
Right, yeah. Attempting to be realistic.
Yeah.
Because when I saw your more earlier works to now, yours is more on the, I want to say, mild cartoony side. Very expressive, exaggerated, while your earlier work was more, I would say, more grounded.
Yeah, and that's probably why I didn't have as much fun back then, because I like drawing in a cartoony style. I think that's why I was so attracted to the Nintendo stuff. More cartoony than something more realistic you'd see on like PlayStation at the time or whatever, Xbox. So that's probably why I like drawing Mario and Zelda.
At least until Nintendo slaps you with a lawsuit.
Yeah, they've tried. Well, not a lawsuit, but they've tried to, take my stuff down before. So,
if they,
oh really?
Yeah.
If they take down your stuff, does it then technically qualify as them sitting there going as canon? Yeah.
Hey, I mean, supposedly that's what they say. I don't know.
I remember.
Because
oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Because speaking of that, I don't know if BD knows who Meat Canyon is.
I'm do. Pretty sure. Wabbit season. Yeah.
It's the freaking Wabbit season, man.
Yep.
It's like when that came out, obviously I laughed my ass off about it. And then obviously WB did not feel the same way about it, and straight up said, "Hey," he told Meat Canyon, he's like, "That video is now ours." And by doing so, he then makes another video regarding it, saying that basically it's now canon that Bugs Bunny is a recovering ex-con that has who's been in prison for far too long. Essentially.
Yeah.
I'm going to need to look this up because that wasn't what I was going to reference. I was going to reference Zone when they did I think it was Zone. It was the My Life as a Teenage Robot parody, and I think they did some Teen Titans stuff that immediately got slapped with a, "Hey, you can't do this. This is our intellectual property." And there was a very brief couple months where me and everyone else who was like, degen adjacent was sitting there going, "Oh my God, is Zone's porn parodies officially going to be canon? Is that where we're at now as a society?"
Society.
But yeah, I can, it's an interesting thing though. It's like you have your own unique style, but I could still see it being used for concept art, but it has to be very specific when it comes to what exactly they're looking for, because if they're like, "Oh, we want to make a game that would work with your style," then you wouldn't have to change much. But being a concept artist is sitting there going, "Actually, I like that design, but we want you to do it in a completely different way that better suits what we have going on." So like, how good are you at having to change your style as a result of feedback? Or would you just be like, "No, this is kind of how I like to be. This is how I like to work. No changes"?
Oh, if you mean style, like how I shade and draw, that would be probably... I mean, I can do it to a degree. I was actually better at it back when I was, still practicing concept art. I mean, I say better, but I was just, I didn't have a style really of my own at the time, so it was easier to switch around. I haven't really attempted it in the past few years, really. I kind of have two styles that if you look at the Melon account, I'll say, since we were joking about that earlier, you can see it kind of early on in that one too, where I was still kind of switching between two styles. I don't really do it much anymore. I wouldn't want to do it just out of me not feeling like it, honestly. So I don't know if I could actually do it. I know I couldn't do it for a job. Like, it would drive me nuts. But for like a commission or something, I could probably change it up every now and then if I had to.
So if you don't mind me asking, what did you start out with? Because I might have been wrong in doing my research. I think you started the Newgrounds account first. And did you just sort of like grow around that? Like how did you originally start distributing your art? Because once again, I was sitting there going, there's no way he started in 2017. He had to have been around back when Tumblr was a thing, right? Right?
Yeah, I had a Tumblr, yeah. I did have a Tumblr.
Okay, because...
Sorry,
go ahead.
Okay. I had a Tumblr, a Hentai Foundry, a Newground. I think I made those all around the same time. Because I was always told, like from concept arts I was into, to post your stuff everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I was doing at the time. I just threw it up on any site that allowed not safe for work pretty much. I'm not sure if I had a Twitter at the time. But I definitely had a Tumblr, a Newgrounds, all that stuff, Pixiv, which I still update to this day, all of them, except Tumblr. But, yeah. What was the question? I don't remember what the question was.
What?
What was the question again?
Oh, I was asking, which one did you start out with? How did you sort of like grow and expand?
Oh, right.
Yeah.
I don't know if I have much advice on that. I kind of just kept a steady schedule. I try to upload something once a week, like just consistently. That's really all I did. I didn't really talk to anybody or interact, really. I mean, I would answer messages and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was hard to get in contact with you back in the day.
Was it? Did you try to?
I believe I sent you, like, when I had my original Twitter account, I believe I did message you at least 2 different times and just never got a response because I think I was trying to get a commission done, and I was like, well, he's not answering, so I would either assume he's super busy or he literally has that turned off.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I'm not good at interacting with people like that, so.
Well,
fair enough.
The one thing that always kind of like just knowing your vibe, because I don't know you as long as Wrath has known you. I'm aware of your art first, and then I'm like, okay, let's see how this person is. But you're someone who very much likes their privacy, very laid back. I want to do my own thing, not caught up in the whole, I want to, loudly and proudly broadcast myself and get myself out there as much as you can. You kind of are all right with your close-knit group of people that are on Discord, and then, dealing with the vast majority of people that follow you, which I would say is primarily on Twitter.
Yeah, more likely.
Maybe. I don't. Yeah. Pixiv.
I was going through your Twitter followers or whatever, and I was sitting there and I was like noticing some noticeable names, but like I think it was like 175,000 at least on your Twitter alone in terms of subscribers, and I'm like, holy shit, okay. I gotta ask. So first things first, how do you? Because I know you. When I say you're a recluse, I don't mean that as an insult. You're just someone who values their privacy. How do you kind of deal with the always online, always, trying to... What's the best way to describe the insanity that is the online space? Because you usually have to always be connected, always be constantly putting stuff out, hustling and grinding, and getting your name out there. How do you kind of deal with that without getting burnout?
I mean, I don't really, I don't think. I just post my stuff, and that's pretty much all I engage with the online sphere. I don't really know if I have anything to say for that.
It's okay. Sometimes I'll throw things out and it might not always land where I want to, but we move through it. But what were you going to say?
I was going to say, like I said earlier, I guess consistency is the only thing I really have to offer with that. I post like once a week, and that's what my goal was when I made the account. I'm like, okay, I'm going to keep this up for as long as I can, and I've kept it up. And that's all I did on my end. I don't know if I got lucky with an algorithm or what. Are
you still doing that, or have you had moments where you just like, I can't make anything this week or whatever?
I don't think so. Not that I can remember. Not since I started doing it, like, seriously. Definitely not since I made my Patreon. I've always kept posting weekly, so... Yeah, I can't think of a time where that ever happened. Because I always have, like, I usually have some spare images, so if I can't draw something, I always have
something on the back
post.
burner, and you just queue it up, and you're good to go if you need to take that time. Okay.
Yep.
Well, I mean, that's genuinely fair. I'm a little bit jealous of you because I have had massive burnout. I know that there's people on my YouTube channel that are just like, any day now, he's gonna release that video. He's gonna release that video months later.
Anytime now, bottom.
I'm trying.
If I had to make videos or something like that, or like we said earlier, if I was working at a studio, I would definitely get burnt out, like majorly. I know I would. It's just the fact that I make exactly what I want when I want that keeps me going, I think.
For me, my biggest difficulty is primarily tied to I have to go in and work a full-time job on top of the hours that I would spend, video editing, researching, doing all of that. There's just some times where it's just like, I honestly don't want to do that tonight. I'd rather just play, I don't know, Kingdom Come Deliverance or whatever game that's interesting me. Like, I don't want to do extra work on top of the 8+ hour shift that I did at whatever job I'm currently doing. So I can get that and understand that. Let's talk about your sort of jump into live streaming, because that's how I started eventually joining in on your community. I know that you'd been doing it for a bit. It wasn't until you started advertising it on Blue Sky that I looked at it and I'm like, you know what? Fuck it. Let's see if this person is actually decent or if they're cringe. Let's fuck it, we ball. And it was one of the most chilled and laid back experiences, to the point where when I would come back from a concert or when I would be out driving or whatever, I would put you on through the Bluetooth speakers of my car and just kind of just vibe out when I drive back home. It was like the right amount of chill, to the point where I'm like, cool, I'm able to come down from whatever obscene high that I have, but not too chill to the point where I start falling asleep behind the wheel of my car.
That's cool. I'm glad you like the streams.
Yeah, I even have something to say about that. It's like I followed BD on his Twitter account for probably a good 6 or 8 months before I think he posted a link. It's like, hey guys, I'm streaming on YouTube now, and I'm also on Twitch. And I was like, wait, what is he going to be drawing on those two sites? Because I half expect him to be like, oh, I'm streaming on the Fansly or on the OnlyFans, or I'm streaming on the what's the other one? I don't know.
Patreon?
No, Picaro. There we go. Picaro. Or something like that. And I was like, in YouTube? Okay. And at this point, I didn't know what gender, BD fell under. And I was like, all right, well, I'm about to learn something. And then when I popped into a stream, I was like, oh, he's a chill guy.
So
okay.
When did you start officially live streaming? I know you made your channels around, I want to say, 2024 was, I think you were YouTube. Give me a second, I'm just checking. Yeah, your YouTube was September 24th, 2024, and Twitch was February 16, 2016. So that's a huge gap between both channels. When did you officially deciding to do live streaming with BDOneArt?
I think it was in November of 2024. I think is when I first. I actually did stream back like in 2017 on Picardo once under Caustic. I was still going by that, and I didn't have a microphone or anything, so it was like completely text based. But that was like one off thing. But yeah, I just like the dynamic of I can talk. I like talking more than typing, so I was able to interact with people was the main reason I did it. So I can interact with people who wanted to ask me questions or whatever. And I ended up liking it, it's pretty cool. It gives me a chance to work on safe for work stuff. Gives me an excuse to make some safe for work art every now and then.
Although there have been times where we've accidentally caught you.
I thought you would mention that.
Yeah, there was...
Pee-pee! Pee-pee!
Well, no, there was
6. Juice was keeping track. One of my mods.
The one that I remember is, you had it tastefully blacked out. You had like these black boxes, but then you accidentally clicked the layer that had the line art, and so we were just sitting there going, "Oh no!" And just casually going to everyone else on chat. We saw nothing. We saw nothing.
Yeah.
Nuke everything. And we were just waiting for the stream to immediately just stop, and then the entire channel just be gone. We were expecting that. I was like, oh Lord.
Not to jinx it, but I have not done it in a long time. I've learned a technique.
Knock on all the wood.
Yes.
If you don't mind me asking, do you think that could you possibly tell me, are there any challenges that you've faced as a not safe for work artist at all? Like, I know it's kind of like an iffy road to go down, because a lot of people are like, it's hard for me to transition from that not safe for work space into safe for work platforms.
I mean, I haven't really tried to pivot to safe for work stuff seriously, so it's tough to say. I'm sure if I ever tried to work at a respectable studio, quote unquote, I guess it would be, I'd probably have to use a different name, I guess, try to hide my style a bit, but I've never really tried to do that, so it's tough to say. I've heard stories of people obviously being kind of blackballed or just not paid attention to because of that. But I don't really have a desire to, like, I make safe work stuff like, here and there, little projects, but it's my own stuff, so I figure it's for my fan base, though. They don't care if I make not safe for work art. They expect it, probably. They prefer if it was not safe for work, but...
There was the...
Yeah, I probably wouldn't recommend, if you're going to do it, make a separate account would be my recommendation.
Well, there's the age-old joke that I can't remember who told it for me, but it's like, if you graduate from animation, you have only two choices. Either A, work for Disney, or B, start working on porn. And... there's no in between, and I'm just sitting there going, there has to be at least some fucking transition. You just have to come up with a different alias. But a lot of your profile, like if you would show it off to like an animation studio, like you'd have to deliberately create under a different pen name and try to change up your style so that no one else is able to compare between the not safe for work alias and the safe for work alias.
Yeah, if you would use a different name and you're like not just flagrant about it, like, oh yeah, I draw porn all the time, like most people, like art directors, aren't gonna care really, as long as you're not, you keep it separate. Even if they recognize your style, they'll be like, nah, whatever. If they like you, it's all about liking you really at the end of the day. That's what gets you a job, if the person likes you. So
if you don't mind me asking, so the internet is filled to the brim with a lot of different types of people. Some more socially, what's the best word? Some less feral than others. How do you? I couldn't find the right word, so I'm just like, I'm going to use feral. Obviously, with you being a not safe for work content creator, how do you deal with fans or people online in that basically will come up to you and start, what is the best word to say? Because there's a lot of really cringe people that assume because you're a artist in the not safe for workspace, they can start really like
do you like a bro, essentially?
Kind of, yeah. They overstep their boundaries, so to speak, or they start showing you some really heinous shit? Or like how do you deal with problematic fans, I guess would be your term. Have you had to deal with anything like that?
Not really. I think the worst I get, and I don't get it too much anymore these days, is dick pics on Twitter. That was about the worst I ever got, really. Sometimes you get people who'd complain that I, like, once in a while that I didn't interact enough or whatever, even though we're sitting there DMing back and forth to each other. But other than that, I haven't had too many problems with fans like that. So I think, well, I don't know. I was gonna say I don't draw like super crazy stuff. It's pretty vanilla, but I guess that's relative. As far as porn goes, it's not that out there.
Vanilla adjacent. We know.
It's not crazy stuff.
I don't know, BD. The things I have seen, man, it makes me question. Not really, but you know.
For me? Maybe.
I mean, everything in the BD verse is just.
Oh, the BD extended cinematic universe, is that
yes,
where we're at now?
That is a thing that the community itself has dubbed. Anything that BD does in any of his comics, it is considered canon in the universe. So, for example, there's been an ongoing trend where family members will interact with each other in very friendly terms, and there will be no genetic abnormalities whatsoever. That is canon to the universe.
If we're going off of that, then that means that there exists the ghost of a femboy who really just needs affection rather than haunting people and murdering them. I think we've kind of gone beyond the fucking pale.
Look, it's not that out there compared to some other artists, okay? It's pretty vanilla.
I'm trying to keep it so PG, but part of me's like, just go full send it. Just full send it, guy.
Well, I mean,
we need...
One of the benefits behind BD is that he's not Shadman. He has social graces, so I don't have to worry about the insanity that is that motherfucker, who apparently is trying to make a comeback.
I heard that.
I don't know how to feel about that, because what I know
is just it's
what I know
I used
about
to watch him stream back in the day too.
What I know about, this is going to sound like a weird tangent, but it's going to work with what I say. Comedy. Comedy, like if you watch movies from a certain era, some jokes really don't land. Some jokes really don't age, and that's simply because they worked because they were a product of the time. But obviously, if you were to try to make a certain movie like
Tropic
Thunder or Basketballs or something like that, it would not work because our social dynamics have fundamentally changed. And in the, I want to say the early 2000s to mid 2010s, it was kind of like the degen Wild West, where once again you get around, like, I remember the days where everyone called each other slurs and it was perfectly okay, and you didn't even need an Xbox Live account in order to do it. But like, it was naturally, you could get away with creating some really heinous shit and no one would penalize you for it. Nowadays, if you were to try to do the same thing, I feel like Shadman would not work in this day and era. I feel like he would have to be like a very low underground type of person to even work with, like I wouldn't say the bottom of the degen barrel, but you'd have to fundamentally deal with some of the most problematic aspects in the not safe for work art community, at least. I might be just talking.
He'd be banned from a lot. Yeah, he'd be banned from a lot of platforms probably now for stuff he used to draw.
Probably be on Rumble.
Someone will be yelling out, "You need to leave!"
Yeah.
He couldn't even post on a lot of the social media platforms with that stuff. I know some artists who draw like even kind of mild, it's not even non-con really, but they have to like be very clear that everybody involved is happy and consenting and all that stuff. So, if you do BDSM type stuff in any regard, you got to make sure of that.
Yeah, I remember that one. I think didn't Patreon pass a similar rule where everything had like someone has to sell, "I consent."
Yeah.
Yeah, you pretty much have
And
to at this point.
like off to the side, like a word bubble, like I consent to this or something like that. Like it was getting outright just kind of ridiculous, and I think even the major porn studios were actually making fun of it. Like,
I think even Subscribe Star, which was kind of a little more, edgy, I guess, of the payment systems. I think even they are having to clamp down on it a little more these days. I've heard.
Like, of course, there was that whole thing with Fansly and all their stuff. I mean, if Caustic Crayon were trying to go on Fansly right now, man, he wouldn't survive because that shit's no longer allowed apparently for some odd reason.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I'm going to casually say I did not even hear about Fansly until I started befriending Wrath. Because I was
me too. I've never heard of it either. I heard from Wrath as well.
Well, Wrath.
Wait, you two don't know about Fansly?
I heard of
No,
OnlyFans,
I
but not
only knew
Fansly.
OnlyFans. Yeah.
No. I refuse to believe that you two, especially you, BD, do not know about Fansly. Fansly has been around for almost as long as freaking OnlyFans. Why do you think I've been screaming at you to probably, hey, if you're gonna do, not safe for work drawings, do it on Fansly because you can stream on Fansly.
Hey, BD is a pure and innocent little bean who manages to just draw femboys with wangs the size of Philadelphia cheesesteaks. It is not his.
No. I'm going to go ahead and stop you right there. No. It's not the femboys that have 4-foot-long peepees. It is the freaking fudas that he constantly draws with 8-foot-long peepee. And I'm like, what is this? How? How does it fit? How is that person not dead?
I'm just going to casually say I now officially no longer know if this video is going to show up on my YouTube. I think we've officially just crossed the pale with that statement going, okay, I think this is going to get taken down.
I am not wrong. I am not wrong with this. It's like smash cut to that Quagmire joke where he was experimenting with like some sort of male enhancement drug, and he points off to the one woman that he tried it out on, and she's literally ripped in half.
Just wanted to be known. I didn't say anything.
No. This is already devolved into.
But we know that BD, what he really wants is to be tied up and be tickled.
No.
Yes.
Not true.
Yes. Every single time he draws himself, he is tied up.
Those are commissions.
Always tied up. Commissions. Okay.
Yes.
It's like in the little lowercase. He's like, hey, I really like it if you would request that I be tied up, please, because I really like that.
That's false. Falsehoods. Lies.
This
I'll
feels
give you like
lies.
a 35% discount if you let me do that.
35% discount on what? What the shit, Rat? This used to be a wholesome Minecraft server. What are we doing here?
There is no Minecraft anymore.
You telling me?
It's that Highguard knockoff.
Highguard, that recently was canceled.
Oh
wasn't
wait,
it?
Shut
I'm
down.
talking about. Oh yeah, it's freaking dead. I was mainly referencing to that new Minecraft looking game that's literally
Hightail?
like. There we go, Hightail. There we go. That's the name I was looking for. I knew it was High something.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, there is no Minecraft anymore. It's Hightail now. It is straight up Hightail. And Concord 3 is on the verge of becoming the new best thing to ever, well, not best thing, the worst thing to have happened in the gaming industry. And you might know it by its other name, Marathon.
I had heard about Marathon. Isn't that the game where it's like a game show and it's supposed to be three people on your team versus multiple others? It's a first person shooter, isn't it?
Yes, it's a first person shooter, but it's made by Bungie, and it's a well, I wouldn't say continuation because it honestly it doesn't look like it has anything to do with the main source material. Because before they made Halo, they made a trilogy of games called Marathon, and if you were to play Marathon, it's like literally old boomer shooter.
Ancient boomer shooter, yeah.
Yeah, like so I mean, like straight up like Doom like. But if you were to play it, you'd be like, okay, wait, I remember this gun. This was in Halo. I remember that too. That was also in Halo. I remember some of these words. They were also in Halo. Wait a minute. Am I playing a 2D version of Halo?
I mean, yeah. There's nothing wrong. Well, if it's your own intellectual property, I wouldn't see anything wrong with using other things as references or going back to what people liked from previous franchises and things like that.
This marathon is a huge tonal shift from what the other games were, because I played some of them, and it's literally like, you know, you're a soldier, you're an alien, and now we've regressed to we're androids fighting each other, fighting or some sort of roboticized aliens.
Doesn't that happen with all FPSs though? They want to make them a live service game. It's probably what they're doing with that, isn't it?
Yes, that's what it is. Yeah. It's a live service game, and
like COD, right? It's like rainbow colors everywhere and all this weird like shit that doesn't fit and army and all that stuff. I don't know. It's
actually this is going to be a good idea to do a weird transition, because I was on your YouTube channel very recently, because once again I'm trying to get as much as I possibly know in order to ask you things. You started doing a small little tangent that I feel could eventually not overshadow your work, obviously, but might be a nice little side diversion. Is you started doing Game Slop News.
Yeah, I saw that the other day, and I was like, oh wait, this has been a while since we've seen edited content from BD.
Yeah.
Which so first things first, I'm going to ask you about Game Slop News, because I noticed the one that I particularly watched. I think it was like the Final Fight, the newest one, which I think is like Final Fight 4. Correct me if I'm wrong. But
Streets of Rage.
Oh, sorry, Streets of Rage. Sorry,
gameplay.
Thank you for that. But you had Streets of Rage gameplay, and you kind of were going. I can't tell. Is any of that style of content scripted beforehand, or is that all off the top of your dome?
I take notes. Like I have little notes up on the screen, and I just do stuff with it. Like it's not really planned out. It's like I do it in like I try to make them in under an hour. If it takes more than that, I'm probably gonna just scrap it or just release what I have.
So do you plan on making like more, I guess edited content? Because I know early on you did like drawing tutorials early on when you started doing YouTube and stuff like that. So you don't plan on doing any more kind of edited content unless something really triggers you, essentially?
Nothing more than Game Slop News, I doubt, ever. I'm just not a fan of making videos, I don't think. I made the first one as a joke, just to complain. I don't remember what he wanted to complain about. I can't remember what it was. It was the whole point of just making it, and and people jokingly, I think, in the chat said they wanted more, so I made another one just for fun, and that might be it. That might be the end of Game Slop News.
So I'm going to go ahead and transition.
Breaking news.
Straight up, no.
If something annoys me enough, I'll make another one, I guess. I don't know.
So I want to transition into we're talking about games, but we're also you have released a game per se, and you're also currently in the works of making another, like I guess an RPG style game as well. I do know you had a visual novel that have you released that yet? I can't remember if you did or not.
I'm gonna release the first chapter pretty soon, the one I've been working on stream.
Okay.
This is a very brief point where I'm just going to plug. So if you're curious about some of the work that BDOne has done, he has a small little visual novel called Blackthorn Witch. The first part is available on Steam, and I'm trying to remember. Do you also have it on? I can't remember what it's called. Itch.io?
Yeah, it's on Itch.io. Yeah.
If you don't mind me asking, first of all, did I accidentally cut you off, Wrath? I can't remember if you were finishing.
I was also going to transition to since he's answered that, I was going to ask, like, so you've also you've also dabbled your hands in a light novel, and you've recently released it. Can you tell us what the name of that novel is?
Oh yeah, Acherontic, that one.
Yes, that one.
Yeah.
So that was your first one. I'm assuming you're gonna have maybe a sequel or something similar to it coming out anytime soon.
Maybe.
How
I could,
how
yeah. I don't like to make promises because I said I was going to make part 2 of Blackthorn and release that eventually. Well, I've already it's already written, but am I going to make it? Yeah, probably. I guess at some point.
So I left a review on there, and I'm pretty sure you have seen it already.
Yeah, you sent it to me. Yeah, you sent it.
So have you received anything regarding that review? Like, what in the hell is this guy talking about, or anything like that? It's like, what is the bet? What is like, what is the bet? Why did I not see this here? And stuff like that.
I don't know. I have no way. Nobody can contact me through that account because I don't really have any social media for my safe work. I'll never be able to have a safe work account and tell Wrath because he'll be on there saying, "This is BDOne. He makes this stuff over here. Go check it out." So
like I wrote along the lines of from the critically acclaimed our author and artist of The Bet comes BD's next triumph in literal expertise.
See, this is the whole reason why I didn't start an OnlyFans, because I knew it's only a matter of time before Wrath tries to just end my life as we know it by being my hype man.
Well, I did review all that. So.
If you don't mind me... Oh, sorry, keep going.
How well has it sold? Have you sold any copies yet?
I don't know. I haven't checked, honestly. I don't really keep up to date with it. I don't really keep up with my metrics, so I couldn't tell you.
Oh, for God's sakes.
BD is the most laid-back person. He's like, I don't care. It's just out there.
I'm just going to make it, throw it out there.
All my side project stuff I throw out there and just let people, if they want to check it out, you know, I think it's cool. Obviously, I love when people look at my stuff and check it out and have fun with it, but I try not to dwell on it too much, you know.
It's like,
keep it nice and easy.
So you're just like, yeah, I'm just gonna throw it out there. If it makes like $100,000, I'm not even gonna notice until, you know, later on in the year or something like that.
Well, I think I would probably notice that in my bank account.
Yeah.
It's like, why do I have $25,000 in book sales?
When it comes tax season time, that's when you know, and you're like, oh, okay.
Oh shit!
I need to change this because I'm now in a different tax bracket.
Yeah.
If you don't mind me asking, since you've gone from, you know, trying to do concept art to going into the not safe for work space to eventually going from your comics to now doing a visual novel, what were some of the challenges and hurdles that you had to face from your very first sort of glimpses into making your own visual novel / games? Like, what were some things that you were not expecting going into, say, making Blackthorn Witch?
Well, actually, it's probably just getting used to the software. You know, it was RenPy is what I used to make Blackthorn. And I wasn't a very big fan of it. I'm a little more comfortable with it now, so I actually like the way this visual novel is going. It's a lot more smooth sailing than Blackthorn was, but it was just like a learning curve. Getting to terms with RenPy's syntax and all that stuff was probably the biggest thing. And I also ended up drawing a lot more than I expected, which I know that sounds stupid because it's a visual novel, but like making the different backgrounds and all the different expressions and making sure they move on screen right and they show the right expression at the right line. It was very it's not tedious, but it's very time consuming. It took a lot longer than I thought it would. So that was probably the biggest surprise, was how long it took me to do it.
There was a brief period where me and Cats from the server, we were doing a kind of like a fan dubbing of Blackthorn Witch.
Yeah, I remember that.
And I once again, because I review video games for YouTube, video games, anime, and movies, and you do not know how fucking difficult it was to shut that part of my brain off. Because I'm looking at it, I'm going through the story, I'm sitting there, I have, the scripts, I'm recording the lines, and I'm like, Matt, you're not reviewing the game. Stop making a review script while you're voice acting for this. That's not what you're supposed to. Well, because I would sit there and I'd look at it and I'd, like there would be times where you would, I'm trying to remember, but I think it was during like the dance sequence when they're having like the barnyard dance between the main character and the main character's mom, and I think you ended up not having her in a dress for certain scenes, but then her having the dress on in other parts of scenes in the barn, and that was kind of like throwing me off. And I'm like, Matt, you're not reviewing this. Stop reviewing it in your head. There's no point. The game is already out.
I don't even remember that. I mean, I remember the section you're talking about. I have to look and see. Yeah. I have no clue. I don't remember.
You're trying to break him, man.
Well, it's
inadvertently trying to break Sonic. He's like,
I have this problem where I can't consume media 100%. Like, if I'm going to be voice acting, I have to make sure I am locked in. Because if I am not 100% locked in, my mind will immediately start going towards YouTube critic mode. And so like a movie or a video game or something like that, I'll immediately start dissecting it. And sometimes I'll even sit there with like a pad and paper out, just taking point form notes. And there'll be people that are there going like, are you honestly making a script right now in the middle of like this hangout? And I'm like, yeah, shut up. Just give me a second. I'm almost done making my point.
It's like, give me a minute.
It's fun to critique stuff, so I mean, I get it. There's nothing wrong with that, I don't think. I think people should be more critical of the stuff they consume, so I would never complain about that.
Is there
Myself.
any... Well, I mean, yeah, you yourself are a creator. Is there anything that you've consumed recently, actually, that has inspired you, whether it is artwork-wise or working on the newest visual novel, or anything that you would go to that you've taken direct inspiration from recently?
Ooh, direct inspiration?
Yeah.
I mean, for Gravekeeper, I guess so. Yeah, I think Look Outside actually motivated me. It's a RPG Maker game.
Mm-hmm.
It kind of sparked me to actually get RPG Maker and make something with that. I'm like, okay, I'll finally bite the bullet. Because I was going to originally make Blackthorn an RPG Maker. I'm like, nah, I'll just use Ren'Py. It's free. It's a visual novel. It should be fine. So I guess that's technically inspiration, I guess. Not sure if that's exactly what you meant. If you mean more story-wise...
No, it could be anything from like mechanic wise to world building to this like there's so many different ways that you can gain inspiration in what you do. Like there might be times where, for example, me as a YouTuber, I will watch, video essayists, and I'll look at, what they've made, and I'll sit there and go, okay, well, I'm not going to completely ape their style, but there's something that I can take from that and slowly apply it to my already pre-existing style on top of that. So whether that is like a visual gag or adding motion graphics or a certain way to do transitions or a certain way to even think about the analytical elements of script writing, I'll get inspiration from that. Or even like from music, right? Like I'll listen to completely different genres of music and sit there and go, okay, well, maybe there's something that I can implement in my own music career. So I kind of lost where I was. I'm not going to lie. This is past my sleep time, so to speak. So I'm kind of all over the place tonight.
Yeah, I mean that happens to me constantly while streaming. So I get you. I know how it feels.
So if you don't mind me asking, we're both on the same time zone. We're both Eastern Standard Time, right?
I believe so. Yeah. I am. I don't know about you.
I am. I'm a Toronto native, world of Scott Pilgrim. But the reason why I asked this is, have you always been like a night owl, or like why is it that both you and I interviewed Kuro Nightly, both of y'all are like, yeah, let's get started at midnight, and I'm like, why? What did I do to hurt you?
I am a night owl, yes, but I don't know why. It's just, even when I try to like get my schedule like a normal person's, it just always migrates back to the night. Even when I have stuff to do during the day, like relatively frequently, there's bouts of time like that. Then
yeah, because I know whenever you stream, like for me, I'm Central Time, which should be time for everybody because I hate time zones.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, when you stream, it's around like I think 10:30 p.m. So I guess for you, it's 11:30 p.m. And when you first started streaming, you were like, oh yeah, stream for like 2 hours, whatnot. And now I'm starting to notice, like, hey, it's like 3 a.m. and BD's still going.
Well, I stream a lot less frequently now. I was streaming like almost every night, I think, when I first started. But now it's like not quite as often.
Like anytime yeah, because anytime I saw like the notification pop up, I was like, what fabulous femboy is BD drawing today? And of course, speaking of which, I do want to segue into the various characters that you have created throughout your career, mainly more recent when you started streaming. Obviously, I think your most well-known character, and obviously one of my favorite characters, is Sasha, from the critically acclaimed series The Bet.
Yeah. A lot of people like Sasha. I think that's a lot of people's favorite of mine.
So, out of all of the 162, put an asterisk next to that, BD original characters that you have created, besides Sasha, which one do you think is probably your next best favorite?
My favorite? I don't know.
Probably his
tough.
Self-insert.
No, definitely not. Not true at all. Yeah, that's tough. I have a hard time picking favorites, even if it's not my own stuff, just in general.
And of course, while you think about that, of course, we always bully you. It's like, hey, you create this character, and we've rarely seen them again.
It's true.
Because, of course, my favorite character that has not had their glorious debut would be, I think the community has called Goon Boy.
Yeah.
We don't make the names, people. They just come to us.
That was your failed superhero name, wasn't it, Wrath?
Oh no.
Look up in the sky, it's a bird, it's a plane, whatever it is, watch your eyes. It's Goon Boy. No.
Speak. Now, whenever you do create a new character, do you have like in the back of your mind, like say, hey, I'm going to, have them like this comic, or I'm planning on maybe doing a small comic for them, because obviously you put a lot of effort and detail into that character, and I think some people who do that, it's like, I cannot let this character go to waste. I have to put them in something. They have to have their 15 minutes of fame, or in this case, probably 30 minutes of fame, to get them out there so people can, get to know them, I guess, a little bit better.
When I make them, it depends. Like, sometimes I'll make them specifically for a story that I have in mind, but other times, like Goon Boy, I didn't. I just sketched him when I was doing my character designs for the stream. I just kind of winged it when I made him. That happens sometimes. Sometimes they turn out good, sometimes not so good, but I like Goon Boy. I think he turned out pretty well, and I guess you like him too, so...
Of course, I like Goon Boy.
I'm not going to lie. For the longest time, I've had an idea, and I'm surprised I didn't make it for a title card, but I've joked about it on stream a few times of creating your Spanish doppelganger, BDOne, where
yes.
all the only thing I would do was I would take like the chibi version of your avatar and like badly Photoshop a sombrero over top of it and a really problematic mustache and put you in the back of a one of those, oh my god, I've forgotten what they are. They're the food trucks. No, food trucks. And on the side it would be BDOne's Mean Bean Machine.
Speaking of Bean Machine, you released your novel under the name of Dean Bean, or as I would like to call Dean the Bean. I'm assuming that's an anagram for your actual name, or is that just something you made up off the spot?
Oh, it's just, I think Katz called me Deanus Beanus or something in the chat once. I'm like, okay, yeah, that's good. Something like that. I just
Wait,
Dean Bean. I'm like, yeah, that's good.
You created a novel?
Well, a light novel.
Oh, okay. I was intrigued. I'm just sitting there going like, wait a minute, we've now gone into the world of literature.
No, not quite. No.
What's your publishing house? Novel. Tell me your publishing house. No. I'm not going to lie. I am kind of just vibing out right now. I don't have any questions other than like some future stuff, like where do you see the channel growing in 5 years, or what are some things that you want to possibly attempt that you haven't done yet for BDOneArt? Like where do you see yourself going if you had the ability to?
I would like to make maybe a more, what do you call it? What would be the term? Expansive game, I guess. More so than even the little RPG, if you want to call it that, little survival horror game. I'd like to maybe make a bigger game than that even next time if I can.
Can you tell me about this survival horror game for the people that aren't aware of it?
Oh yeah, Gravekeeper. That's what it's called. It's on itch.io as well. For free, you can play a little demo. I'm going to revamp it with some feedback I got for it. Some good feedback, I think.
What is?
It's just a little.
What I was going to say, what is the premise? But I think you were going to get into it.
Oh yeah. It's just you're a guy who keeps a graveyard. He's up there guarding it all by himself, and he meets a nice lady, and a lot of crazy hijinks ensue. And yeah, I don't know if I said this or I think I did, but you can get the demo for free and check it out. Leave some feedback if you do, because I am still working on it and revamping it. So if you got any hot tips, feel free to drop them wherever you can contact me.
You mentioned it was a survival horror game.
Yeah, pretty much. It's got turn-based combat because it's made in RPG Maker, but it's mainly a survival horror. That's the main focus. Maybe I don't want to call them puzzles, really. I guess there are puzzles technically, but it's mainly, don't get attacked by the enemies and continue the story.
Okay. I don't know enough about the game in order to properly critique it. I might go down that road just to sit there and go, okay, this is what you need to improve.
Well, you can do that if you want.
Oh, I most certainly will now that I am made aware of it. I'm surprised. I'm surprised no one told me about this until now. I'm like, wait a minute, he has another game?
I do, yeah. It's up on itch.io. I will put it on Steam once I get Part 1 revamped and Part 2 together. I'll probably throw it up on Steam as well. So
actually, if you don't mind me asking, what is the difference between itch.io and Steam? Because you pitched Blackthorn Witches on both, and I was wondering if there's any kind of difference between the publishers in terms of like what needs to go up or what content needs to be cut, or is there any kind of like wiggle room or any kind of what would a not safe for work artist need to know about both platforms?
Right, that's a good question. Actually, that's another thing, going back to your earlier question about what I learned making Blackthorn, was how much of a process putting something on Steam is. Like, they have such a long review. You have to go through all their forms to make sure your metadata is right and everything. And it took me like a month or more to get Blackthorn on Steam after it was ready to go, just going through all the process.
Yeah, but I'm pretty sure that has to deal with the fact that Steam was notorious back in the day for what we call asset flipping and asset slop flipping.
Yeah,
Because
I get it. I'm not complaining about it really. It's just, it was a huge process. It's also $100 to put a game up there. You have to pay to put on Steam.
Oh, wow.
itch.io,
So
you can just create an account, throw it up, and that day it's not a big deal. So
okay, so now there's actual. If you make a bad game, you're at $100, I guess.
yeah, exactly. I think once you get, I don't know, there's like a certain threshold you get the money back. Once you pass that, they'll give you your $100 back.
I do have one more. Well, I think I have actually two more questions, but the most more important question of those two is with the sudden introduction and annoying introduction of AI, especially when it comes to art, and you being an artist as well. What is your thoughts on generative AI?
I'm not a fan of it. I think that's probably pretty clear. I don't think most people who make art are. Well, I can't say that. There are people who embrace it, I suppose. But I'm not a fan personally. I like making things myself. I'll always make it myself. So
do you see it? Do you see it as more? Of course, there is a fine line between, okay, I'm using AI to basically say, I don't know how let's say like an outfit you were trying to do for a character. I don't know how this outfit's going to look on this particular character. So instead of wasting, I don't know how long the process is. It could be shorter for you. Sometimes it's longer for others. Instead of wasting X amount of time going through different variations, I can just run it through an AI and say, hey, I want this person in a 3-piece suit, various colors, and just go from there and then be like, okay, yeah. I'll be like, okay, yeah. So this I can obviously not copy that design, but then influence your design going forward to where it's now original instead of just touching it up and say, yep, it's mine. I did it. Yep, it's mine. I totally drew it.
no, I wouldn't use it for it personally. No, I would just little thumbnails or whatever. Like, it's not too much time, honestly. At least for me, the way I do it. If I want to try different iterations of the design.
So
Because I have seen some streamers who are like more on the 2D side. Obviously, it costs a lot of money to have new outfits and rigging and all that, and you don't know how that outfit's going to look when your character moves. So I know there was one person that I was like, hey, why don't you get this outfit for your character? And they're like, well, I don't know how it's going to look, and plus it's going to cost money. It's like, well, let me go to good old Grok and see what it looks like. And I'm like, and when we did it was like, yeah, it doesn't look too good. So yeah, don't waste your money on it. That sort of thing. So you don't see AI as being used as a tool instead of like a tool to make money, essentially.
Oh, I mean, I'm sure it'll be used for all of that, but I'm not going to use it, because I like the process. I mean, I like doing it. I do this because I like it. Like, that's why I got into it. So
I'm going to
I like making things myself.
I'm going to very briefly offer my experience involving AI, because I've had to use AI not due to my own, not because I wanted to, but because it has shown up. So with my rock band Camo Kimono, my bassist Tim, he has a decent background in business. He works for a bank, but he looks at me and he goes, hey, Matt, we should have a business plan and we should map things out. And I'm like, okay, cool. I don't know anything about making a business plan. I only know how to book concert shows and I only know how to do social media. And he's like, okay, cool. And he shows me a chat GPT prompt that he made, which will show me some very basic, you're not supposed to follow these rules completely, but they're kind of a good starting point. And then you kind of look at that and go, okay, well, obviously I wouldn't use this to manage the entirety of my band, but some of the stuff does bring up ideas that I never thought were possible. And if we want to reach out for radio stations, it'll actually do this is the person who runs this radio station, this is their email, and I would fact check that, and I'd be like, yeah, that is their official contact information. So using AI as sort of like a, what's the best way to say, for references or for things that aren't 100% part of the creative process, I can get behind.
Engine.
Yeah, as a search engine, as a basic search engine, yeah, basically
performance search engine,
like what Google used to be before it got really, really shitty. That's what AI can do. I also, like, I use AI in a very small amount with my YouTube videos, and I only use that because I use DaVinci Resolve, which is free open source software.
Okay.
But I have the paid version. But what the paid version does is it uses artificial intelligence to listen to the audio wave format that I used in my voiceover recordings, and it would generate subtitles based upon my audio recording. Like, it'll listen to it and say, okay, this is what we think that you said during it. Of course, it is not 100% perfection. I would look at it and go, okay, well, I didn't say that, or it will assume, because I sometimes slur my words, that I'm saying something completely different. So it still involves human oversight. So, like, those are some very basic uses for it, but unfortunately, there's people in suits that will overstep the boundaries and think artificial intelligence could be used to replace an artist or a voice actor or someone who actually is responsible for helping make and create the thing, and learn to disastrous results how badly that fuck up can cost them in the long term.
Speaking of that, I don't know if any of you heard about it, but I have seen it, and this was like a couple of weeks ago. AMC has actually taken a stance against AI images in, I guess, quote-unquote, movies being shown at their theaters, because there was, you know how when you go to a movie theater and you go and sit down, there's like 20 minutes of like previews and commercials and stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Some company somehow managed to say, hey, so for that 25 minutes of where you guys are literally just sitting down watching trailers for upcoming movies and stuff, we're going to buy all of that time slot and show you a short movie made completely by AI and voiced by AI.
Yeah,
in which AMC was like, no, because they've already paid $30 to watch, a movie. We're not going to have them sit down an unskippable ad, essentially, and not only unskippable ad, unskippable AI generated ad for 25 minutes. No, sir. We are not going to do that. So they whoever was had that, I guess they got their money refunded or something and issued an apology, because they were trying to say, oh no, we were showing how AI can actually be creative. It's like, not at the expense of other people, guy. Put it on YouTube.
It's funny that you mentioned put it on YouTube, because YouTube advertising, at least for me, has always been the most heinous of shit. Even before the AI ads appeared, it's normally, if you're getting an ad on YouTube, 9 times out of 10, it usually is a scam. Originally, it was like, I don't know, the Ty Lopez, oh, look at my Lamborghini, let me sell you a course type of thing. And then it eventually turned into these AI ads where they're using some kind of vocal filter which makes the character sound like Jordan Peele. But it's like, oh, this person is secretly in a magic academy and all the bullies laughed at them while they NTR'd his girlfriend. And I'm like, what the fuck is this?
Okay, so one of your Momo. They used to go by Momo on the channel.
I miss Momo so much.
It's Peachy in chat who asked the question earlier.
Oh, I didn't know that Momo switched to Peachy. I was sitting there going like, I haven't talked to Momo in so long. I miss her.
You just did.
I
stream.
I didn't know.
Live.
I didn't know. No one told me.
I know. I'm not saying anything. I'm just telling.
But they messaged me saying, okay, well, never mind. They just deleted it. Never mind.
Ballpark it.
Something about asking you if donut seats are on the rise for femboys because they are constantly getting railed by 5-foot-long pee-pee fooders.
Yeah, I'm just going to casually say this video is probably not going to make YouTube standards now.
Oh no.
So I don't know if there's a direct correlation about that, but so BD,
I don't even know. How do you answer that question?
has they risen? Have you gotten a rough estimate about the sales?
You're asking me to make commitments to lore choices I'm just not ready to do live on stream. I can't do that.
So,
I have to really workshop that before I make a decision.
So I'm going to casually say, because I'm using my VTuber avatar, it is very difficult to get across. My hand has been on my head the entirety of Wrath speaking for the past 5 minutes. I'm like, I'm not even looking through my eyes. They're just completely covered. I'm like, as if this is going to somehow make it any better, but it's not.
But going to my I guess my final question, unless something else pops up in my head, prepare yourself, Sonic, because this one's going to be somewhat of a doozy.
Oh boy.
So I have been noticing I guess a small trend, maybe not small, definitely a large trend, and I emphasize large, that anytime that you introduce a new, beautiful, voluptuous female character, they're always packing something in between. So
Really?
I have been noticing.
So?
Oh yeah. I mean,
He's got a tally, apparently.
I do have a tally. I do have a tally.
You do have it?
Very-
Oh, fuck's sakes.
I do have a tally.
Head back in my hand.
There was the convict, the buff convict person that Sasha's mom went and visited.
Yep.
That was one. And then I believe the orc prisoner is also possibly. Yes. I remember.
Person?
Yes. Yeah.
Oh yeah. She's an old character. She was from like 3 or 4, maybe even 5 years ago.
That
That's an old
is.
character.
But she has her own little comic. I don't think we finished that one yet because I think he got sidetracked.
Again.
Yeah. That one also, Fuda. Then we go into your newer works. Which one was it? It was the Gator people, the Gator family.
Yeah.
Of course, one of them, PP.
Oh,
I'm assuming.
that's not
Yep,
true.
one has.
No.
I know one has a PP.
Wrong. False.
Heresy.
The mom
But-
doesn't, and the daughter doesn't. They both have no PP.
Okay, but but there are 2 femboys. I'm assuming
There are.
Yep.
Yeah, that's
Yep,
true.
2 femboys.
They have
But
PPs.
probably your new favorite background character is that elf one, and of course
Mhm.
PP, PP, small PP.
Not a big one though.
Nope, small PP. Preferred small PP.
Yeah.
So
We're good.
what is the purpose behind keeping track of all these wangs? Like,
The fact that anytime we get and it's not, and I stopped there, but there's other characters. I think there was like a short comic involving, I think it was like some sort of I guess Buddha business person who happens to have PP. There was yeah, it's gonna be a list of the list is tomboy friend, childhood friend who happens to have PP, elf high priestess who happens to have PP. Basically that's my description of everything right now.
That's not true. No.
But I just been noticing that do you I guess prefer to have a female character that happens to have a PP to be taking place, or is that it just happens to be coincidence?
I really don't think I have that many compared to ones without PPs. I think if you went a full tally of all my female characters, there'd be
No,
less with
there's
PP.
a couple more that have PP. I know
there's
there
a
is.
lot
There's some of them just don't have names, unfortunately, because you just make so many characters that just happen to not have names. Or you made names, but you never told anyone about their names?
Possibly. But I still think you're underestimating the lack of PP on some of my ladies.
But
all the ones for the visual novel coming out don't have PPs, I'll tell you
You
right
underestimate his power.
But okay, so I think my last question is that you recently did for me, I didn't know, and I'm pretty sure you're gonna say, "Oh, I've mentioned it before," which I'm pretty sure you didn't. That Sasha is not just a femboy. Sasha is also a shapeshifter, which I was like, "Wait a minute, what? When?"
No, I did not talk about that much at all. So that's a new. It's not really new. It's been planned for a while, but it's not like anything I've released or said before. So that's top secret information.
Mm-hmm,
Deep in the BD lore.
And were you surprised on how, I guess, the bet blew up in popularity? Because I think out of all of the comics that you have created, I think that one has the most chapters in it.
Yeah, I think so. That's just because I like making it mainly, but yeah.
Originally, it was like a one-off where I guess he's just teasing his older brother, and of course, classic, hentai scenario happens, and he got corrected, and
Absolutely,
then it then kind of teased it again, got corrected, and then you did your first chapter, then your second, third, fourth, and
I was having fun with it,
fifth, and then we started getting introduced to the mom, and and then we started getting more background,
lady, yeah.
which I'm like, yes, golf mommy MILF.
No PP.
No PP, thankfully. And then you recently introduced that Sasha has a father.
Yep.
Who's also a femboy, which. So, I need 100% confirmation here. In the vampire family, Sasha, the mom, the MC, and the dad, are they all blood related?
Well, why need clarification on that? Isn't it apparent?
He
I don't know,
he wants to know for deep lore reasons.
Because you know how you watch an anime and it's like 12 episodes, and the MC has a sister, and they call each other brother and sister all the time, and then the next to last episode is like, oh, you're my sister even though we're not related by blood.
Cowardice, utter cowardice.
Like they lean into it super hard, and they're like, you know what, I think we're crossing the line here, let's go ahead and do the whole but we're not related by blood trope.
Spineless.
Sweet home Alabama.
Keeping that bloodline pure like an archduke.
Yep. They are. There's no twist like that.
Maybe we shouldn't bring up British royal family when talking about purity in the bloodline. I'm just saying, due to current events, I think that is a sign of, hey, maybe you need to go outside your bloodline, because it's quite clear that there's something really fucked up with doing that.
Oh, Momo just messaged me saying BD prefers women with bone in rather than boneless.
Not true. Depends on my mood, really, I guess, but.
But
great, now I want chicken wings.
So they're all related by blood.
I mean, you'll just have to stay tuned to the bet.
Because we all know that in the BD-verse, genetic abnormalities are not a thing.
Well, that's what you say.
So the very first thing I'm going to say to rush to BD's defense is that not everything is 100% set in stone. Sometimes there's a reason why certain things haven't been explored yet, because maybe he might be just hemming and hawing over where he's going to take the story next.
Yeah, I'll say that the bet, special delivery, they don't really. There was no plan with any of those. I just kind of draw them as I feel like them. There's no script or even outline, which is not recommended if you're making something. I would definitely recommend you make a script or at least an outline if you're going to make a comic series.
Well, especially because long-term planning, you know, at first you're thinking it's going to be a one-shot, and then it really starts catching fire, and then you kind of like write yourself into a hole because you haven't made the long-term planning necessary to actually bring it into fruition. And if you start spitballing it, then what happens when you make a mistake and you're just like, oh, I shouldn't have included this because now this is going to hurt this really great idea.
I'm not sure if I've gotten far enough in the story to even worry about that. I'm not sure if I ever will at the rate I release chapters.
Because there was a comic that I once read, and of course it was not safe for work as well, where the MC and the significant other mention each other by name, and then about halfway through the MC mentioned his counterpart by a completely different name.
Oh, really?
To the point, yeah, like straight up, like even in the comments, they brought up like, wait, why is he saying this person? I thought this person was named something else. He's like, shit.
Yeah.
the artist came out. It's like, shit. That's right. Okay. Scratch that. Just ignore that.
I haven't done anything like that quite yet, so I don't think I've made a mistake that big. I don't think.
So right now you have two comics that are currently in I guess I wouldn't say pre-production, mid-production. One of them is the Gator Family. What was the name of that comic?
Fair Play.
Fair Play, and the other one was what we call Prince Boy. So
Prince,
what was the name of? Was it called
Prince?
Just Prince?
Yeah,
so what are your thoughts on those two comics as of right now? Looking back at it, it's like, are you all right with how it's coming out? Do you think you should have changed something in the beginning or anything like that?
I need to step away real quick. Is that okay? Just for a quick second.
Sure. Do you think?
Yep. Go potty.
Okay, so BD has done a tactical retreat because you put him on the spot, Wrath.
I didn't put him on no spot.
How could you? You were supposed to bring balance to the Force, not destroy it.
I am the balance. I'm the one that brought femboy pregnancy to be canon in the BD-verse.
You killed younglings.
Unnecessary sacrifice. The world of females is over. They will be usurped by femboy pregnancy, as it should be.
This entire stream has gone off the deep end. We've officially jumped the shark and then some.
No, we haven't just jumped the shark. We jumped the shark, came back, kicked it in the balls, and shot it about 8 different times, and then lit it on fire.
Yeah, that is exactly 100%. I'm willing to go. Just also for curiosity, when you're talking about Fuda, you're talking about the cheese that you put on Greek salad, right?
I don't know, Sonic. What do you think? I mean, BD is known for 2 things, and 2 things only: very feminine femboys and 5-foot PP Fudas.
I have my YouTube career has gone very weird places with the inclusion of this podcast. Welcome back, BD.
As a hashtag in this podcast, and I guarantee you 1 million views by the end of the month.
Oh, for fuck's sakes. No. I don't even know if this video is going to make it on YouTube. Hopefully we haven't violated any content regulations. We've kept it just...
I mean, as long as we haven't said anything egregious within the first, 5 minutes, we should be fine.
And I've definitely said way worse things on my streams, but I'm not sure if they got hit with anything. I can't tell you that.
Well,
I don't think so.
We will figure it out as we go along. I'm honestly... sorry, go on, finish, and then I'll say my joke.
But for... to rehash that question, with the 2 comics that you have currently being made, that you're currently in production with, looking back at it now... Is there anything that you see looking back that you can tell yourself, maybe I could have done that a little bit differently, or there's anything like, man, I really wish I didn't do that, or anything at this point in time?
Oh, for those 2 in particular?
Yes.
I,
Like anything you could have done differently, maybe rename somebody, maybe had a different kind of scene, or you're looking at some things like, that could have been done a little bit differently.
I don't know. I'm pretty happy with how the Prince is turning out. It may be something in fair play. I don't know. I'm not sure, really. Usually, after I finish it's when I start noticing things I wanted to change. Like, by the time it's all complete, maybe I wouldn't put as many characters for fair play. I might focus a little more on not having so much going on. I think that might be a bit.
I think that's a normal kind of thing. It's like, I think I have too many characters going on, and I don't think. And you're trying to balance between, all right, they got enough screen time. Now it's time for this one. They got enough screen time, so does this one. And you're just trying not to like, well, I built up this whole character right here, and she's only in it for like 2 pages, and that's it.
Yeah, because I got like the whole gator family and the shark family and the elf girl. It's kind of a lot. But yeah, probably that I guess would be the main thing. Maybe focus just on the people on stage or something. But I like the Prince comic, how it's going. For me, at least, I like it. So
we're still waiting for Goblin comic.
Goblin comic? Oh yeah, just Goblin in general.
Yes, because I have fought. We as a community have fought so hard for you to draw Goblin.
We as a community, which basically is just you. You are a community of one.
No. If I am a community of one, I'm a community with one with a voice of 1,000,000.
Okay.
All right. But
you need to start taking your multiple personality medication.
But so obviously we're waiting. Like you have done a few gaming streams where you have played Skyrim a lot,
yeah,
with a character that you have drawn once with a very appropriate name, and she's an elf called Cocksleeve.
Yes.
Will we see
elvishly, huh?
Will we see more adventures of Cocksleeve and her femboy companion Goblin?
I think I still have the save file, so maybe it's possible. I don't know. No commitment to that. Skyrim, man. It's a game.
It certainly is a game. It is a game that the more I play it, the more I realize how dated it is.
But it's very dated. It was dated when it came out, so
it's nowhere near as bad as Oblivion though, because one of the problems I had with Oblivion is that like as your character leveled up, the devs just decided everything else needs to level up with you, and I'm like, that's all fun and games until you realize, oh, I made a stealth build and you're throwing minotaurs my way. And I'm just trying to fast travel from this dungeon to this city. What are we doing here?
Because
cross bandits with full Daedric armor or something ridiculous. Like,
like when the remake for Oblivion came out, I knew about, you leveled up, your enemies leveled up with you, and I was like, it's not that big a deal. I had the misfortune of not going to the city of Kvatch as intended, and showed up there as like a level 30 or so. So all enemies that were there, mixture of minotaurs and those giant alligator-looking creatures flooding the halls.
Yep, that's good old Oblivion for you right there.
I think someone made I think it made the news. I guess the gaming news was like, hey, I think we need to tweak this because it showed like a hallway of like high-level enemies, like just dead in the middle of the hallway.
Yeah, every time I played Oblivion, I always download a mod to fix the leveling somewhat. So definitely recommend modding it if you're gonna play a Bethesda game.
Absolutely, it might end up fixing it.
Until they re-release it for the 18th time and break it again.
Break all the mods.
I mean, yeah, that is a thing. I've already had to deal with. We live in a world of way too many remakes and remasters. Some turn out to be really great. Like, for example, what they're doing with Resident Evil. I'm actually all for it because I loved the original Resident Evil 4, but then playing the remake of Resident Evil 4, I'm like, this is actually pretty dang swell, and they've improved that. But there are also times where you pick up a game and I'm like, I want to play I don't know, Dead Rising or something like that, and then you play the new one and it's like, it loses a lot of its luster and its charm, because a lot of the storytelling, a lot of the things that made Frank West an interesting character is because of how unconventionally unattractive the character is, on top of how janky the combat is and how janky certain parts of the game is. Granted, it would be cool.
He does have a beer belly going on with him.
He's got like a big, he's a huge chungus among us. But
got a dad bod going.
But there are parts that obviously, like the prisoners who are in the Jeep that keeps fucking respawning even if you kill them. Like that's part of the original game that I absolutely hated.
I never had them respawn. Like after I killed them, they stayed dead.
Every time I needed to go from one end of the plaza to the other, they would just be back at full health, and I would just be sitting there going like, thank God this is... Yeah, in the original. This is back when I
could have sworn, because I remember murking the crap out of them, and they never showed back up.
Yeah, I don't think I ever saw that either.
You know what? It might have been a glitch on my friend's Xbox 360, because I remember, like, I completely wasted them. I got lucky. And then I left the mall, and they're back out there in the middle of the night, and I'm just like, what do I have to do to make sure you motherfuckers stay dead? And I was, like, sitting there going, like, Joey... You're lucky this isn't my console, because if this was my console, I would have traded it in for a PlayStation 2. Fuck you and your shit-tasting games, and I just left. Ran off into the middle of the night.
Too, so I feel like I remember that, but I don't know. It's been so long since I played it.
And I think what a lot of people, especially the newer generation, tends to forget when it comes to remasters and remakes, they get those terms. They're trying to combine those terms into one term fits all kind of scenario. Because when you remake something, you have what we like, good example, the Resident Evil 2 and Resident Evil 4 remake. I'm not clowning Resident Evil 3 remake because that was abysmal.
It should have been it was originally supposed to be DLC for Resident Evil 2 remaster. But anyway, we talked about this already.
Yeah. Those are what we consider remakes. When you remake something, obviously you keep the same story beats, but you also expand or get rid of some certain elements that did not, even at that time, probably did not fit, to streamline everything. Because when Resident Evil 4 came out, you knew it was a sequel to Resident Evil 2 Leon. Because he basically has PTSD at this point. And, he's carrying around the same knife that he was carrying around in Resident Evil 2. And in Resident Evil 4, they greatly expanded Luis's role in the game.
Mm-hmm.
Because he only showed up maybe like 3 different times in the entire game. But now total game, I guess, screen time would be like maybe 20 minutes. And this time it's like almost an hour and a half. And you really got to, feel for it and get that camaraderie with him. And now when you lean over to a remaster, would be the Halo 1. Would be the Halo 1 remaster. New coat of paint. And that is it. That is all it is. Nothing new, nothing added. That's it. Just make it play smoother on the game. And the main Skyrim I give a pass because I like Skyrim. But my main enemy in this whole remaster remake debacle is The Last of Us Part 1 and 2.
Really?
They went too egregious with the remake, with the remasters.
So
Last of Us Part 1.
I'm sitting there going, the first game shouldn't even have been remade. The first one was perfectly fine as is.
Like when I played the first,
remastered them anyway. Like what? Why?
They remade they remastered the first one to play on PlayStation 4. Okay, got it. Because at that point the game was like maybe 8 or so years old. It's like, okay, fine. Pretty it up and whatnot, and they never added. And of course, this is what I hate about remasters. Like, you have an opportunity to add stuff in there that was cut, but you don't do anything.
Yep.
and that's what pisses me off the most. But they remake the first, they remaster the first game. Okay, cool. And then later that year, part 2 comes out, and that whole debacle about it. And I think a year later, PlayStation 5 comes out, and it's like a year and a half, and they're like, "Oh, we're remastering Last of Us Part 2." Why?
Yeah.
I
Why?
have a slight problem with specifically the. I think it was the Last of Us Remaster Part 1. It might have been either Part 1 or Part 2. I can't remember which one. But at the time, I was doing a review on Hi-Fi Rush, and I was basically talking about how it was one of the most innovative games in a real long time to come out of that particular year. And I was sitting there going, well, let me do some research into what awards it won so I can put it in my YouTube script. And I wrote down it won the BAFTAs that it did, but one of the things that I noticed was that it was in the running for that year's best soundtrack on Steam Awards. Right, and I voted for it because I'm sitting there going, it's great. But it ended up losing to the remaster of Last of Us Part 1. And I'm sitting there going, but the game originally came out years ago. But because of the loophole of, well, we remastered, and that remaster has now officially come out at this year, I'm like, technically, if you want to be a dick about it, you can just keep releasing games and undercutting the award ceremony, despite the fact that the game came out years, if not decades ago, if need be.
Expedition 33.
Expedition 33? What about it? It's a new game.
It should not have won Game of the Year. It's an indie game. And even that, it's not even an indie game at that point.
Yeah, I was about to say, I would have more contention against the indie game thing than the Game of the Year.
And even at that point, it's like,
game,
and then of course it says, "Oh, we won the indie game of the year as well." It's like, no, you didn't, because you had to turn that back because you got caught using AI.
Yeah,
I mean that's not even. I don't consider it an indie game at all. I don't know. It's just, what's your definition of it at that point? It's like
when you have a very like this is what me and Sonic did at the beginning of the year. We
had a
massive
massive stream at on New Year's Day, the very first one. I guess it was the pilot episode.
Pilot episode.
And we were just sleep deprived as shit. And I brought on Wrath, my former executive producer Scott, and my partner in crime Harriet, and we all started talking about the games. And at one point, we brought up Claire Obscure, which was Harriet's favorite game. She routinely sometimes messages me going, Matt, you need to play Claire Obscure, and you need to share the screen so I can watch you play it and critique it. And then in the middle of it, Wrath had warned me ahead of time, going, so I'm going to basically start not attacking Harriet, but I'm going to start critiquing the game because I feel like it doesn't deserve the awards that it's won. And I'm like, oh, for fuck's sakes, here we go. So I had to basically
stand by my statements. I still stand by them.
You are a shit disturber and a half.
It's an indie game, and it should not have won Game of the Year, because and then everyone's like, oh well, it can be an indie game with a big publisher. It's like, no, it's an indie game because not only is it an indie game, it's an indie studio with an indie studio publisher. So it's the definition of indie game.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm fine with an indie game winning Game of the Year. I just don't think, considering Expedition 33, even if it technically falls under the term of an indie game, I just don't consider it one. It's absurd.
Yeah,
and I also said it should not have.
Game.
Even I said it was like it should not have won indie game of the year either because it has a publisher. Even if it's an indie publisher, it's still a publisher because a true indie game has no publisher.
I mean, something like Cultic has a publisher like New Blood. I'm fine with that being considered an indie game where it's made by like one guy, in his free time or whatever. And
this was made by a team of 30, 40 people, maybe 50.
Yeah, well, if you count the outsourcing, it's more than that. But yeah, I think the core team was like 30 something. I don't know.
BD, if you don't mind me asking, what games are you currently playing?
Nothing really. I mean, if I'm with somebody who's playing a game, I might pick up a controller and play a little bit. But myself, I don't really game. I'd rather like work on stuff if I can in my free time than play a game. I like gaming. Gaming's like my favorite hobby. If I wasn't making things, I would be playing games, but I just, try to use my time as best I can to make things.
Wrath, you are really spamming those fucking bleeps.
But,
so you mentioned Disney Requiem?
Huh?
Sorry, you mentioned Disney Requiem or something?
Oh no, I said I played over Resident Evil Requiem recently.
Oh, sorry.
So have you fallen for the spell, the Dilthy wiles of Daddy Leon yet?
No, I do like Leon. Like, Leon's obviously my favorite Resident Evil protagonist. But
now we can't go too in depth with Resident Evil Requiem, especially because Sonic here has not played it yet.
Oh, okay, yeah. I wasn't gonna spoil anything. I was just mentioning what I was playing. I wasn't gonna like.
And I still don't know how he managed not to get spoiled by anything, because everyone's throwing up shit up there on YouTube.
Oh, for the story?
Yeah.
Oh.
So I've always been relatively good when it comes to avoiding spoilers. My roommate Scott, on the other hand, he's like, sorry, I already know the twist. It's already been when it's movies or games, he always gets spoiled. But for me, I'm just really good at maintaining radio silence. It also helps that my algorithm doesn't normally feature those games. It's normally featuring whatever the hell they think that I'm into, and just because of
my algorithm decided to say, hey, well, it's two things. One, my algorithm decided to fuck me over, but apparently Resident Evil Requiem had a couple early releases for, I guess, influencers or something like that, and I get it, have them play it and stuff like that, but if you're going to be an influencer, can you please not be your first video or one of your videos have the thumbnail of a major story revelation and your title also saying that too for a majorly anticipated game? That fucking irks me to all hell, because I got spoiled because a certain character shows up, and I'm not going to mention who it is, but he's somewhat known by the community, and I'm like, dude, are you fucking serious?
Yes.
He shows up here?
Well-known Resident Evil character Chris Chan.
Oh no.
And I'm like, dude, are you fucking serious? The game doesn't even come out for like 3 days, and you're telling me that this guy shows up? And that's the first thing you put on the fucking thumbnail?
Yep.
I get them clicks. It's good stuff.
It's
good clickbait.
Yeah, get the fucking clicks, but get the fuck off my feed.
That's kind of the major thing. Like, everybody, how news or how the algorithm primarily works is it will pick up whatever the popular thing is, and in a rush to be the first person to break the story to get ahead and get all the views and likes and stuff like that, they're not even bothering to fact check. They're just like, fuck it, let's just, if it violates, if it gets whatever, we need to be there first. And so as such, rather than putting out something of quality, it's all about putting out as much quantity as you possibly can, so that way you can get ahead of the algorithm, and so that it picks up saying, hey, this person's making like 5 videos in about 5 days. Maybe we need to start showing more and more of their stuff to other people.
Like, let me ask you this. Like, how pissed off would you be if, say, for example, like the next Halo game were to come out, and some a small group of jackasses decide to get awarded an early copy, and they play it. They don't stream it. They fucking play it, and they release like their entire playthrough, like one video per day leading up to the release of the game, and then like say their 5th video, it says, "Holy shit, Master Chief takes off his helmet and he has blue eyes and shit," and it's like smacked right there on the fucking thumbnail.
I would be upset. Genuinely, I would be upset, because once again, half the enjoyment of consuming media, usually for the first time, is you go through that sort of emotional wave ride, so that way when a major thing that happens in the plot hits you, it hits you full force because you weren't expecting it, you weren't told it, right? It's kind of like, to some degree, the easiest way I'd say it is, imagine, right before Christmas Day, like right before Christmas Day, they tell you, oh, you're getting a bike for Christmas. And then you wake up like less than 24 hours later, and you're downstairs, you open up your present, and sure enough, it's a bike. It's great that you are getting the bike, but you're like, it would have been so much better if you kept your fucking mouth shut and just waited a day for me to enjoy this bike. It would have been a surprise. It would have been, who cares if I don't even enjoy the bike? But the fact is that you had to fucking blab and impact my enjoyment of the scene. So that's how I feel about it.
And it's not just like these smaller YouTubers or influencer channels that are guilty of this. I have seen some major YouTube channels also be guilty of this. Two of them being New Rockstars and Screen Crush. And these two channels, they primarily break down, say like, oh, they're breaking down all the Star Wars movies, they're breaking down all the Marvel movies, and finding Easter eggs and connections and theorize about this, that, and the other. On some occasions, especially with some of the newer Marvel movies that came out in recent years, they managed to get like an early screening or early showing or any of the Marvel TV shows, and they'd be able to watch it early. They will release a full-blown breakdown of the movie and or show a day before the fucking thing comes out. And at that point, I'm like, I think they have stopped doing that because I think a lot of people have gotten on their ass about it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, why are you releasing this 1 day, 2 days before this is even out yet? How are we even supposed to be like, shocked about your assumption or theories of this subject when we haven't even seen the prime material yet?
So there's a couple things that happen in the world of reviews. And the very first thing that happens with game reviews, depending on if you get like an advanced copy, is if you get a review copy that is sent to you by, say, for example, let's say Capcom, because we're talking about Resident Evil Requiem, they will say as part of the agreement for you playing this game is that you will not violate a trade embargo, a review embargo. And spoil it or mention anything past a certain time.
You can play the game, you can show off some footage of sections that we tell you that you can show off because we either have shown it off or these sections don't spoil anything. You just cannot say X, Y, and Z happen at this point in time.
Mm-hmm.
You cannot spoil it. You cannot say, oh, Chris Redfield is actually Claire's adoptive brother or some shit like that. You cannot reveal that.
Or who Leon is already married to, because apparently Leon has a wedding ring.
Yes, that is true. And my money is obviously on Ada.
I don't know how to feel about it, like, because a lot of people are saying it's actually Claire Redfield, and I'm like,
don't go into the meme. For God's sakes, Capcom.
I know the meme that the red line, bloodline must continue,
bloodline
or whatever.
Must continue.
But truth be told, I actually would prefer it if it wasn't Claire Redfield. I would have. I'm not even. Yes, I obviously ship Leon with Ada, but even if there was someone else, and maybe like not just have them as a background character, but like a character where we've seen them, maybe she survives a certain game, and then it's like, okay, in one of the spin-offs, we don't see her at all in the Resident Evil franchise, but we know that they're together, and that Leon at least has a life outside of killing people and doing backflips. Granted,
the theory is that Claire may be Leon's wife because there's a little motif going on with everything that he has like some sort of like eagle wing attached to it.
Yeah, and her red jacket has like eagle wings from the second game or something like that.
And another thing, and I find this kind of odd, is that they're trying to say, oh no, he's not married to Ada. Nor is he married to fucking Claire. He's married to Sherry.
That's weird.
Yeah.
And I'm like, dude, when they first met, Sherry was way below the consent line. So I don't know where the fuck you are coming in with that.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, he's 50 and she's like, pushing 30. It's like, dude, that's still kind of weird because at that point, this was a strictly, bigger brother, little sister kind of relationship that they had. Even in Resident Evil 6, that was the vibe I was getting.
Oh my god, Resident Evil 6.
Yeah, we don't talk about Resident Evil 6, okay? Friends don't let friends talk about Resident Evil 6.
But my wild card is on Hunnigan being the wife.
That'd be a throwback, I guess.
That would. I'd be okay with that.
Like Hunnigan. I mean, granted, she only showed up she showed up in 2 games, Resident Evil 6 and Resident Evil 4, but she has shown up in a few of the 3D movies as well. So I would be like, hey, just to throw you guys off, Hunnigan, because he tried to hit, because he did flirt with her in the original Resident Evil 4.
I would be a little bit more better off with Hunnigan, because hear me out. Like, even though I do ship Ada with Leon, it still doesn't change the fact that multiple times throughout Resident Evil 2 and Resident Evil 4, Ada kind of has used and manipulated Leon behind the scenes. Granted, she has saved his life multiple times, and some person basically said, just letting you know right now, the mission from Resident Evil 4 would not have been completed if it was Chris Redfield's storyline. Like, that specifically was tailor-made for Leon, and only Leon could have survived Resident Evil 4. So I get that. But at the same point, I'm just sort of looking at it going like, I just don't see Leon with Claire. For me, it just doesn't, they haven't established themselves other than a friendly, hey, we survived Raccoon City in Resident Evil 2. Cool.
Right on, bro.
Yeah.
Bro vibe.
Pretty much. Respectful colleagues going through the worst fucking day of their lives at work.
I mean, in the remake, there was a little bit of, it's like, so what's up? How many zombies did you kill? Oh, that's hot. That's...
Yeah, I remember that part. Yeah, it's a good one.
But they were kind of like, semi-flirty with each other, especially during outside when they were literally behind a fucking gate that either one of them could have fucking climbed, to be honest. And my money's probably saying it's either Ada or Hunnigan. It's going to be one of those two. Or secret option 3, fucking Ashley Graham. Just going for it.
I mean, Ashley, yeah.
Daughter, huh?
It kind of makes sense after he saves her in Resident Evil 4, as well as we haven't really seen what Ashley's been up to since. So there could have been... There basically, at this point, needs to be a game that happens before Requiem, which answers that fucking question, because at this point, we're all just speculating. The director of Requiem has said that Claire is a trusted companion. If you know anything about Japanese, that could also mean spouse, though. But he hasn't clarified that. And so as
clarified.
I mean, he also announced that there will be single player DLC that's currently in production right now, so maybe we'll get some answers. Doubt it, because I'm still waiting to hear back if Billy is still fucking about from Resident Evil 0.
Oh wow, I've never even played that one. I don't know.
Fucking Billy Cohen.
Never played. Oh yeah, I know. Is that the train one? Resident Evil 0?
Yep, the train one. It's
where
Rebecca teams up with a convicted, quote unquote, convicted serial killer on a train, which, he shows up in that game and he never shows up and is never mentioned ever again. Ever.
Yeah, I don't think Resident Evil 0 is one of their big sellers. I don't think it was. So he may not show up again ever.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I'm looking at, because while you guys were talking, I'm like, wait a minute, what modern games do I have on my Steam wish list? Because most of the stuff I have is like
I got nothing for mine.
relatively older, because I'm looking at it going like, okay, I have Sunset Overdrive, but that's years ago. I have I Am Your Beast, Katana Zero.
Jesus.
But one of the games that actually I am interested in, it's already out, but I haven't, bought it yet, is Romeo is a Dead Man, which is the latest from Suda51. Known for the Killer 7 franchise, known for Killer 7. Why did I say franchise? Killer 7. I kind of want to. I can't remember. Did he make Lollipop Chainsaw as well? I might just be going out of my fucking head because I'm exhausted.
I think No More Heroes, is that him?
Yeah, No More Heroes. That is definitely him. But it's kind of done in the same vein, where you have your main protagonist. They're gored, killed, come back from the dead, and are now on a quest to kill all the undead and to save his long-lost love type of situation, while having the visual creative style of someone who was given way too much methamphetamines and was told to finish writing their script assignment the night before it was due. So I'm looking forward to playing Romeo as a Dead Man, but other than that, I got nothing else on my list except old games, and not even like super old games. I'm talking like games that came out like 2020, 2022, 2016. It's like stuff that's relatively, within the past decade, but considered old because I'm not throwing $70 to $80 on something new.
Well, I can't blame you for that. Suda51, he usually makes pretty interesting mechanics in his games, even if they don't work too well. So I might be interested in checking that out as well. What's it called? Romeo
is a Dead Man.
Oh, Romeo's a Dead Man. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah,
check that out.
I have that. I recently started playing Death Stranding, the original. Normally what happens is that when a game gets like a sequel, I normally pick up the original version of the game just so I could sit there and go, okay, well, the original version of the game's got to be way cheaper now. So if I want to get in on the franchise, I can pick up the original and then go from that point on. So it's why I'm starting with Death Stranding as well as the original Kingdom Come Deliverance, which a lot of people don't like, but I'm actually enjoying both of them, but for very different reasons, and they're both very different games. Yeah, I've got a lot of stuff that I just are in my backlog.
I'm still laughing over the fact that you're like, am I halfway through the game yet of Death Stranding? It's like, nah.
Not even close.
You still have a ways to go. You still have a ways to go, bud. In the first 6 hours, there was a fucking slog and a half.
So I'll tell you what I recently got into without spoiling it. But I just came back from Hartman's house. So I met Hartman. I met his tragic backstory, and I realized that Hideo Kojima writes really good characters, like really intriguing characters, like the concept of Dead Man, the concept of Hartman, both of which are dealing with death in a very unique and intriguing way. But the overall story of Death Stranding is the most ketamine binge-inducing, what the fuck are we on? Where is the 3-act structure? Where is the beginning, middle, end? Can you explain the story in a way that doesn't make me think that you're a pretentious asshole? And just...
No is the answer to that.
Yeah. So that's my problem with Hideo Kojima, is that, like, if he just made it simple, like, I went to school for broadcast journalism, news. So we had a thing in the newsroom where we said, remember the abbreviation KISS. Keep it simple, stupid. And Hideo Kojima doesn't do that. He doesn't follow any of that.
I think there was an interview with Norman Reedus, and they were asking about what is it like to work with Hideo Kojima, and he's like, I think in a polite, professional way, he basically said he is a weird person to work with, because he was
I can't believe that.
Nah, he seemed so normal.
And he was like saying like, well, I was in this one scene, and like Kojima would be yelling like, okay, you're happy, now you're sad, now you're crying. Look, a whale. And he's like, wait, what?
Does he speak English very well, Kojima? I know he uses a translator, but I
I think it's a very, very, very rough second language.
He has enough to get by, but he primarily will like, unless he absolutely has to, he primarily speaks in Japanese.
Yeah, that's all I've seen him do.
The way that he just says, "Look away," and he's like, "What? What? What? What do you mean?" And it's like, yeah, that sounds about right. Yeah, that sounds about right.
Well, against my judgment, I was giving him the benefit of the doubt and say maybe it was like a translation issue, but you know, who knows with Kojima.
Apparently, Kojima fought real hard for this in Death Stranding 2 for a certain character to have their feet out all the time.
Interesting.
All the time.
I mean,
Trying to be a little Quentin Tarantino there, huh?
I guess.
I don't have a problem with someone's fetish. The only problem is when you try to shove it down my throat and I didn't ask for it.
I mean, if they're just like they just have bare feet and it's not like, you know, front and center constantly, it's probably fine.
I mean, there's like certain action sequences involving this person. It's a female, by the way. And the camera, for some odd reason, always zooms in when she makes point of contact with somebody with her feet.
Interesting.
Like it will zoom in, showing the toes spreading out in slow motion, and I'm like, why are we very fixated on this specific part?
He's trying to make friends with Tarantino. He's a big Hollywood guy, right? Isn't he a big fan of Hollywood, Kojima?
The only time I basically lost my shit at Kojima was, and I mentioned this to Wrath, was the character known as Quiet. Just because,
Quiet was a well-developed character. Do not trash her.
I don't have a problem with her developed character. My problem is the fact he's just like, oh yeah, because she's tortured, she breathes and drinks through her skin, so that is my excuse for making her wear skimpy ass clothing. And I'm like, really?
Yeah.
Just admit that you're a degen. Just admit that you're a fucking degen, and you're like, hey, this is a hot character. I wanted to make this hot character, and I wanted to do that because sex sells in video games, and fuck you for asking. I would have been okay with that.
Edie, draw Quiet as a femboy.
I thought about that, actually. I think I could do that. Wouldn't be too much of a struggle for me to do that. I think she's a very nice looking lady.
Anyway,
emphasize on the hips.
I am starting to lose the plot, and I think the walls are starting to bleed again. So do we have anything that we want to ask or add or add more to it, because I am losing myself a little bit.
BD, do you have anything of great astronomical greatness coming up in the next couple of months that we should be looking forward to, or are you just gonna be winging it for the rest of the year?
Well, I usually wing it, but I do have chapter 1 of the new little visual novel I'm making coming out. That'll be soon, probably within a few weeks at most. It'll be free to check out on itch.io, or however you want to say it.
And let me be the first to say, if anyone is interested in knowing more about BD, go to their Patreon, and pay $1 subscription, and you'll have access to their Discord page. And I say again, for $1, and you'll have access to their Discord page. You can cancel that subscription after.
Although we will warn you that BD is very spicy.
Yes,
in terms of artwork.
Very spicy. If you want to keep just the safe for work stuff, my itch will always have pretty much only safe for work stuff. So
he'll scratch your itch.
Yes. And if you ever see this Melons Draws or Caustic Crayon, they are a poser. One of them specializes in NTR, which I highly, highly detest. And the other one is furry related for some odd reason. But I'm pretty sure they are all very decent, well-meaning individuals of the community. I know BD is, except for his 5-foot pee-pee fetish. But other than that's all the questions and comments and jabs that I have. to throw at BD at this time.
There you go.
All right.
I've been jabbed.
He's been jabbed. Do you want? Is there anything you want to say to anyone watching this stream in terms of things that you want to promote or things that you want to say before we wrap this up, BD?
I guess, you can check out my little game demo if you want to leave feedback. That's always helpful. Anything else? No, I think Wrath covered it with his little spiel. All the main talking points, I would say, is a outro.
Cool. Well, ladies and gentlemen, it is almost 2:30 in the morning. I will have to eventually get out of here for band practice, but hopefully I should have enough to grab a decent amount of sleep. If you enjoyed this, consider liking and subscribing on either YouTube or twitch.tv. You know my name, SonicMTD. Either way, my name is Matthew Tyler DeLeo. Have yourself a wonderful morning or night. Arigato gozaimasu, and later days, everybody. Take care.